Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 644 based on novel. So let's start. The round meatball's body was illusory, and after it appeared, it was surrounded by black gas. It let out a howl and flew toward Wang Lin's five-element true body. As it approached, its howl became even more sharp. Just as it closed in, Wang Lin was still sitting inside the secret chamber and his right hand was still raised. In his right hand sat a small person who was also cultivating. Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. After 100 years of time, Wang Lin was not the same as before. His expression was calm, and the moment he opened his eyes, the little person in his right palm also opened its eyes. Its eyes were filled with intelligence and there was a flash of divination in them. In Wang Lin's palm, the little person knelt down and kowtowed toward him. After 9 kowtows, Wang Lin closed his right palm and the little person disappeared without a trace. The soul I Dao is indeed mysterious. Wang Lin muttered as he looked up and revealed a sneer. 20 years ago, I used this spell to divinate a chance to completely fuse my Slaughter Thunder Essence true body. After countless tries, I found that I needed the soul of a ferocious beast. However, this soul will give me a chance to completely fuse this Slaughter Thunder Essence true body. I divinated that on the day that I try to fuse my Essence true bodies, someone will personally deliver it. This soul indeed came. Wang Lin raised his hand and pointed at the sky. With this, the entire sky changed drastically. The alternation of day and night suddenly stopped and even the countless restrictions stopped flickering. Even the five-element true body stopped. The luohua that had been roaring and had rushed over suddenly paused and even stopped roaring. It seemed to be frozen in place, and while its eye was still ferocious, even this ferociousness seemed to be frozen. Stop spell. When used with Wang Lin's current cultivation level, its power was shocking. When the luohua was stopped, the alternation of day and night returned to normal, the restriction essence true body recovered, and the five-element true body recovered. Immediately after, the countless restrictions rushed into the stopped luohua and entered its illusory body. Endless light flashed, and after absorbing all the restrictions, it shrank a bit. The ferociousness dissipated and was replaced by an illusory figure. This figure was blurry, but it soon condensed into Wang Lin. This figure that looked exactly like Wang Lin revealed a smile and walked out of the eye. As it stood there, it released a powerful restriction essence aura. This was the restriction essence true body Wang Lin had formed by borrowing the power of this fierce beast. At the same time, the rising sun shot out from the alternating sky and entered the illusory body of the luohua. The luohua's body shrank once more and another human-shaped shadow appeared. The shadow shined brightly like the sun and smiled as it formed. It walked out from the eye and stood next to the restriction essence. This body was the absolute beginning true body Wang Lin had condensed over the last 100 years by using his flowing time spell combined with the Dao Wang clan's ability to create their own world. The purpose of this was to recreate countless cycles of day and night. Shortly after, the absolute end essence, which represented the dark night, flew out into the eye. The body of the luohua shrank to only half its original size when the third essence true body walked out. Absolute end essence true body. Over the past 100 years, Wang Lin had used flowing time and the Dao Wang clan spell to strengthen his absolute beginning and absolute end essences to the point of forming an essence true body. However, he could not fully integrate these special essences, so he had divinated and decided to borrow the power of the luohua to attempt it. The 5 true essence bodies all absorbed the soul of the fierce beast. They were borrowing the mutual attraction of the beast's soul to try to integrate together. Inside the secret chamber, after Wang Lin's restriction, absolute beginning, and absolute end essence true bodies had appeared, a strange lightning spread across his body. Another overlapping shadow appeared as his Slaughter Thunder Essence true body flew up into the sky from the secret chamber. When the Slaughter Thunder Essence true body flew into the sky, the black thunder spread out, creating a thunderous rumble. After 100 years of nourishment and a second refining, this Slaughter Thunder and I have become inseparable. There are no more signs of it defecting. The Slaughter Essence has also reached the point of forming an Essence true body. Whether all 5 true bodies can fuse into one will depend on this. Wang Lin's expression was serious as his hands formed seals and his powerful divine sense shrouded the world. The Slaughter Thunder body rushed toward the sealed Luohua and entered its body. The Luohua's body trembled violently and shrank rapidly until it disappeared, leaving behind only the huge eye. The eye was dim, and from a distance, it looked like an egg. After one incense stick of time, countless cracks appeared on it until it exploded. Then woe figures walked out. One was the Thunder Essence True Body, which had formed an Essence True Body a long time ago. The other had a head of blacker hair. It was the cold and indifferent Slaughter Essence True Body. After this Essence True Body appeared, it calmly looked at the sky and a shocking aura spread out. This was a destructive aura that represented destruction and slaughter. "I am Slaughter," the black-haired Wang Lin muttered. He lowered his head and his gaze swept past everyone. When the guards on the ground were swept by the gaze, they all let out miserable screams. This was not because of pain or death, but from fear. A sense of fear that came from the soul. Inside the hall, the purple-robed young man trembled and his mind was filled with fear. Even Prince Jidu was trembling, filled with fear. "I am called Slaughter." The black-haired Wang Lin looked up and roared at the sky, but at this moment, a cold snort came from the palace. When the cold snort entered the ears of the black-haired Wang Lin, his roar stopped. His face revealed pain and madness. Taking advantage of this moment, the Thunder Essence True Body flew toward the black-haired Wang Lin and fused with him. This caused the Black Thunder in the area to lash out. Shortly after, the Restriction Essence True Body's eyes shined and his body turned into countless restrictions. He created a restriction storm and fused with the black-haired Wang Lin's body. At the same time, the Absolute Beginning and Absolute End Essence True Bodies both silently walked out. They turned into 2 rays of light, black and white, and fused with the black-haired Wang Lin. "I am called Slaughter." The black-haired Wang Lin's grunts turned into a roar. For overlapping shadows appeared, seeming as if he was going to force the true bodies out of him. "No one can control me, I am Slaughter." As he roared, the overlapping shadows in his body were pushed out several inches. This looked very mysterious. A second cold snort came out. The black-haired Wang Lin trembled, and at the same time, the 5-element true body appeared in the sky. The 5-element true body shrank and waved his hand. A huge palm of 5-element energy pressed down on the black-haired Wang Lin. "I am Slaughter." The black-haired Wang Lin looked up and released a destructive force. Just as he was about to struggle, powerful pressure appeared around him. This pressure contained a powerful divine sense that pressed down on him. Also at this moment, the shadow of a Luohua appeared behind the black-haired Wang Lin. This Luohua's shadow was in pieces, but countless black threads appeared and the pieces began to fuse. The overlapping shadows around the black-haired Wang Lin no longer spread out, but fused together. "Because you are my second true body, you are Slaughter. From now on, you will replace me in hunting down my enemies. You will spread my destructive intent and kill those that seek to harm me. Your name is Slaughter and your down name is Punishment." A powerful voice echoed in the world and the Luohua shadow behind the black-haired Wang Lin completely fused. The other 4 overlapping shadows also fully integrated and are now one. The pressure dissipated and the world returned to normal. The black-haired Wang Lin was still black-haired. He stood there and slowly raised his head. "I'm Punishment, Slaughter." This voice was calm and extremely cold. There was no emotion within, only indifference to the extreme. He represented Wang Lin's slaughter and destruction, which would make the heavens and earth tremble. It would make Wang Lin's enemies know fear. As he raised his head, his cold gaze looked into the distance and seemed to be able to cross endless distances. His gaze directly fell on tip of the Horn of Origin mountain, on the shocked Song Tian. "Not good." Song Tian's body trembled and he gasped. He subconsciously stood up and his expression changed. He grabbed Kaiman and flew into the air before the horn he was sitting on collapsed. In the Luohua continent, after a part of the Luohua's soul was devoured by Wang Lin, Prince Jidu coughed out a large mouthful of blood inside the hall. After he coughed out this mouthful of blood, an invisible seal inside his body collapsed and was broken. Prince Jidu's eyes revealed a strange light and he could feel a power awakening inside his body. This power filled his body and made him close his eyes. Outside the temple, the black-haired Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from Origin Mountain. His gaze was extremely cold and ruthless. Beside him was Wang Lin's five-element true body. Although these two true bodies looked the same, the feeling they each gave off was completely different. The five-element true body represented Wang Lin's life of cultivation. It would give people a gentle but powerful pressure of someone strong. The slaughter essence true body represented Wang Lin's life of slaughter. It would make one's heart feel cold and not dare to get close. A moment later, a calm voice came from the secret chamber and echoed across the world, "True body, return." The five-element true body looked down at the secret chamber and turned into a ray of five-colored light that disappeared into the earth. As for the slaughter essence true body, it also didn't hesitate at all. Its black hair and black robe fluttered in the air as it slowly walked toward the earth. Its body turned into black strands and dissipated. Inside the secret chamber, Wang Lin sat down. The five-element true body and slaughter essence true body were standing before him. He looked at the two essence true bodies with a solemn expression. 100 years of cultivation to finally form this slaughter essence true body. I wonder if my cultivation take a step past peak void turbulent after it fuses with my original body. If my cultivation level can increase again, perhaps I can completely expel the ancestral curse in the Celestial Emperor's soul and take control of it. Wang Lin took a deep breath and drew his gaze from his true bodies. He looked at the soul being burned by his soul fire in the middle of the room. Over these past 100 years of refining, the grey color of decay had been condensed into the size of a baby's fist, but it could not be expelled completely. My cultivation path is completely different from that of others. After peak void turbulent, there are Empyrean exalts and ascendant Empyreans. But these were added by others, and in reality, both are part of peak void turbulent. And every time my cultivation level increases, it is based on the division of realms. Wang Lin was suddenly filled with expectation. He wanted to know what his cultivation level would be after taking a step past peak void turbulent. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with excitement as he muttered, "Grand Empyrean. Or would it be? Or would it be the fourth step? But does the fourth step really exist in this world? Could the ancient ancestor and celestial ancestor have been at the fourth step?" Wang Lin's eyes shined and he felt expectation in his heart. He raised his right hand and the five-element true body walked forward. It overlapped with Wang Lin and completely fused with him. When the five-element true body returned, Wang Lin's white hair flowed without any wind and his cultivation erupted. At this instant, he reached peak void turbulent, and after 100 years of closed-door cultivation, he was filled with power. This was him in peak condition. Looking at the black-haired slaughter essence true body, Wang Lin clenched his teeth and revealed a decisive gaze. He pointed at the slaughter essence true body and the true body looked up at him with its indifferent gaze as it walked over. In the blink of an eye, the slaughter essence true body closed in on Wang Lin. It didn't stop until it started overlapping with him. It overlapped with Wang Lin completely and then they began to slowly fuse. As the fusion went on, confusion gradually appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. At the same time, his cultivation level increased at an indescribable rate, and the world changed colors. Wang Lin's cultivation seemed to have broken through a bottleneck and was still rapidly ascending toward a mysterious realm. During this process, his cultivation level instantly surpassed the so-called Empyrean Exalt stage and soon climbed to the so-called Ascendant Empyrean stage. This continued with no sign of stopping. Wang Lin's eyes became even more confused, as if he was going to lose his mind. Everything felt like an illusion. As his cultivation level continued to increase, it went beyond Ascendant Empyrean, rising toward another boundary. This was the boundary of a Grand Empyrean. After an unknown amount of time, the Slaughter Thunder Essence true body and Wang Lin were almost fully fused, though a bit of overlapping remained. It looked like they were about to fuse completely. Wang Lin's eyes released a silver light and were filled with confusion. Finally, he felt a rumble in his mind and felt like his soul had left his body. His soul left his body, left the chamber, and appeared in the sky. The sky was not blue and there was no sun, moon, or stars. At this moment, only Wang Lin's soul existed. He looked down on the earth to find that it was covered in a white fog. This made it so he could not see the earth. He looked at the sky. The sky was obscured by thin lines that seemed to contain their own laws. This is the sky. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with confusion. He could not see the sky, only the fine lines. Even when he used his full power, he could only see countless fine lines without any end. With confusion in his eyes, Wang Lin wanted to fly out. He had a vague feeling that if he could step out of these endless lines, he could take the step past peak void turbulent. This step would be an ascension, a metamorphosis where one break out of their shell and transform into a butterfly. This feeling was extremely strong, as if it came from the depths of his soul. After silently pondering for a moment, Wang Lin suddenly looked up. Although his eyes were filled with confusion, there was even more determination. He charged at the endless fine lines. He moved very fast. Even though he could not feel it clearly, he rushed into the sea of fine lines. He allowed the lines to surround him, but he continued forward. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin saw a bridge appear before him in this endless sea of fine lines. To be more accurate, this wasn't one bridge, but 9 bridges. After this bridge, there was one that looked like a rainbow, and after that, there was another rainbow-like bridge. They expanded into the vast space and gave off an ancient aura that made it seem like they had existed since the world was born. After the distant 9th bridge, there was an illusory image that looked like another world, and he could vaguely see a few figures inside. However, when Wang Lin took a closer look, he couldn't see a thing. It was completely blurry. Heaven-trampling bridge. Wang Lin muttered to himself, then he looked at a huge, stone tablet before the first bridge. There were 3 large words engraved on this stone tablet. These words were very strange. Wang Lin had never seen them before, but the moment he looked at them, the meaning of these words appeared in his mind. On the stone tablet, aside from these 3 words, there was a row of smaller words. Wang Lin silently looked over. Trample the heavenly path, void extinction Tao, immortal soul, worshipped by all. Wang Lin went into a trance. He vaguely remembered that if there was still a 4th step, its name was heaven trampling. After standing outside the first bridge for a long time, the confusion in Wang Lin's eyes disappeared. His eyes shined brightly and he walked toward the first bridge. Step by step, the first bridge looked very close, but it took a few hours to get there. When Wang Lin was before the first bridge, he finally saw the entirety of it. This bridge was an illusion without any substance. It could be seen but couldn't be felt by divine sense. The ancient aura coming from it was not something that could be created by humans. Heaven-trampling bridge, Wang Lin raised his right hand to touch the bridge, but his hand easily went through it. He was startled for a moment and he carefully looked at his right hand. There were some crystal-clear particles of light in his hand. Each particle contained powerful vitality, and they all flew back toward the first bridge. Wang Lin closed his eyes and stood there for half an incense stick of time. He suddenly opened his eyes and raised his foot to talk toward the first heaven-trampling bridge. The moment he stepped onto the bridge, he could clearly feel that his soul body was undergoing a transformation, as if a large amount of laws of the world had become clear to him. He had never felt this before, and he stood motionless on the bridge. After a long time, Wang Lin let out a deep breath and looked at the bridge with a strange gaze. He stepped forward step by step. When he arrived at the end of the first bridge, the changes in the law of the world had been engraved in his heart and could not be erased. Looking at the distance, the vague, illusory picture at the end of the 9th bridge became a bit more clear. It seemed to be a beautiful place, but the human figures were still blurry. He couldn't even tell how many people there were. While silently pondering, Wang Lin walked down from the bridge and went toward the second heaven-trampling bridge. He had a strong feeling that if he could walk past all 9 bridges and see the illusory scene at the end, he could break past the 3rd step and enter the legendary heaven-trampling realm. The first and second bridges looked very close, but Wang Lin flew for several days before he arrived at the second bridge. This bridge was several times larger than the first bridge. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to step onto the second bridge. The moment his foot landed, his soul body trembled as if it was going to collapse. It was as if his cultivation wasn't qualified to step on this bridge. A rumble echoed and Wang Lin felt his mind explode and the world seemed to spin. His divine sense and soul seemed to separate. He vaguely saw that there was a continent below the fog, and it was very familiar. On the left side, there were 72 continents, and on the right there were 36 countries. At the center was a vast basin where the sea was rotating rapidly. In the depths of the sea, he saw 9 large pillars connected to form the shape of a door. The door was closed and not opened. Heaven trampling. Am I heaven trampling right now? Wang Lin could not feel his own existence as he looked at the earth below. He silently pondered as he looked toward the direction of the celestial clan. The 72 continents suddenly changed into 72 souls roaring at the sky. This included the heavenly bull, green devil scorpion, and many of the sealed beasts he had read about. The beasts seemed to notice Wang Lin's gaze, and they all roared. Wang Lin could clearly feel their fear, but he could also feel the other intent behind the fear. At the same time as when Wang Lin entered the legendary realm after Void Turbulent, the 72 continents in the celestial clan began to tremble. This trembling increased and could be felt by all the cultivators. They were all confused and didn't know what was happening. However, on any continent with a suppression temple, the temple was the center of the trembling. The trembling became even more intense and caught the attention of the powerful people of the celestial clan. They flew into the air in shock and looked at the earth to see the respective souls of their continents show signs of instability. The earth trembled violently and the incredible scene of them appearing occurred. On the heavenly bull continent, a giant heavenly bull appeared and shrouded the entire continent, roaring toward the sky. Its eyes were filled with excitement and fear, but even more so a plea. It was pleading to the strange existence it felt in the sky so it would be free. Along with the heavenly bull, even more of the 72 souls suppressed in the celestial clan appeared one after another. Even some of those that had been rumored to be dead souls appeared. Although their figures were a blue, the fearful pleading toward the sky was equally shocking. Almost all the cultivators in the celestial clan saw this heaven-shattering scene. They were in a dance and panic. The earth trembled even more violently as the souls that appeared continued to roar, and it looked like a calamity was going to descend. What happened? Inside the Dao Yi sect, Grand Empyrean Dao Yi flew into the sky, and his expression was gloomy. There was even a trace of panic on his face. With his cultivation level, he could clearly feel this shocking event taking place across all 72 continents in the celestial clan. He stared ahead at the towering tree coming from the Mountain Sea continent. The tree moved and let out sharp roars. Dao Yi looked at the giant tree and gasped. Damn it, wasn't that foreign monster tree dead? Why is the soul still there? What happened? Could there be a problem with Lian Daofei, who is suppressing them under the palace? At the same time, in the northern continent, Wu Feng looked at the ice giant with a gloomy expression and a trace of horror. In the Purple Yang sect's Grand Empyrean Gemini flew out, looked at the earth, and frowned. In the ancestral city, Grand Empyrean Zhu Di stood on top of Mount Emperor. He looked at the earth and his expression remained the same, but the contraction of his pupils revealed his shock. Behind Zhu Di, Haizi opened her eyes. There is no problem with the underground palace and Lian Daofei is still sleeping. He continues to suppress the 72 souls. Did you divinate the result? What exactly happened? Even those who have been pretending to be dead howled as if they sensed something. Zhu Di's voice was cold, but there was a trace of fear in his heart. He looked up at the sky but could not see anything. However, the 72 souls were clearly pleading toward the sky. Haizi silently pondered and her hands formed seals. A small person appeared in her right palm and started to kowtow toward her. However, Haizi's eyebrows were locked and she found nothing. Her eyes lit up as she bit the tip of her tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood fell on the small person and the little person was immediately covered in blood. It let out a miserable scream as it continued to kowtow toward Haizi. This time, Haizi's body trembled and she staggered back as her face turned pale. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. They felt a heaven-trampling gaze looking down upon them from above the immortal astral continent. What? Zhu Di's expression changed and he could no longer hide his emotions. He looked up at the sky sharply and he felt his hair stand up. Aside from the sky, he could not see anything, but he could imagine a gaze looking down on the immortal astral continent at this moment, perhaps even looking at him. Heaven trampling. This, Zhu Di's body trembled and his cultivation seemed to go out of control. He went from an old man to middle-aged, then back to an old man. This was enough to show the shock in his heart. Wang Lin looked at the celestial clan, at the 72 souls filled with fear but crying in plea. He also saw the shock of Dao Yi, the horror of Wu Feng, the confusion of Gemini, and the gaze from Zhu Di. He saw them, but they could not feel his existence. When Wang Lin looked down on the ancestral city, his gaze swept by Zhu Di. This was also when Zhu Di looked up and felt his hair stand up. He saw Hai Zi. He saw Lian Daofei, who had turned into a mountain under the palace. On top of Mount Emperor, Zhu Di's expression became pale, then he flew into the sky and bowed. Junior Zhu Luojiu greets Senior. If Senior has any requests, Junior will do as Senior commands. Ever since he had become a Grand Empyrean, he had never bowed to anyone like this. However, at this moment, he was filled with fear and he respectfully bowed at the sky. However, he didn't get any reply until the 72 souls' cries became despair. Their pleading became stronger, to the point where they finally dissipated. The earth no longer trembled and Hai Zi spoke softly. That person has left. When Zhu Di heard this, he still remained bowing for another incense stick of time before he got up and descended with a pale expression. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the celestial clan. When he saw the heavenly bull and Lian Daofei, he wanted to save them, but he could not. While silently pondering, he looked toward the ancient clan. When he looked over, an uproar similar to the celestial clan was occurring at the ancient clan. The earth trembled as the 36 souls in the 36 countries all appeared. This included the Luohua that had part of its soul devoured by Wang Lin. The Luohua appeared completely. Its head was a giant meatball shaped like a cultivation planet. Its tail was like a dragon's tail, and there wasn't only one, but 9. It howled at the sky as it pled for help. Xian Luo awakened from his closed-door cultivation. He looked at what was happening and gasped. The ancient Shizong Qian stared at the changes in the 36 countries and was dumbfounded. Could this be related to that Wang Lin? Impossible. Such a shocking scene can't possibly be related to that person. In the ancient Ji, the mysterious Grand Empyrean was in his closed-door cultivation location and gloomily felt this change. Wang Lin saw all of this, and his gaze finally fell on Mount Jiu Dao. He looked at the top of the tower and the figure covered in fog. A sigh came from the figure. He opened his eyes, which were completely calm. When he looked up at the sky, he seemed to see Wang Lin's gaze. The moment their gazes met, Wang Lin felt that this strongest person in the immortal astral continent had indeed seen him. The figure inside the fog slowly said, "You've finally reached this level. Which bridge are you on now?" Wang Lin silently pondered and then sent out a divine sense. "The second bridge." "What about you?" With his current cultivation level, he still could not see Grand Empyrean Jiu Dao's appearance. "Many years ago, I passed the 5th bridge and was stopped at the 6th bridge." Wang Lin calmly asked, "Is the 4th step beyond the 9th bridge?" The figure inside the fog whispered, "I don't know. Throughout the ages, no one has passed the 9th bridge." "No one? What about the ancient ancestor and celestial ancestor?" "They all passed the 8th bridge and stopped on the 9th bridge." "What kind of place is this heaven-trampling bridge?" Wang Lin asked about his doubt. "The immortal astral continent is very large. But outside the immortal astral continent, there are many more continents. From what I understand, the heaven-trampling bridge is a common path for all living beings." Grand Empyrean Jiu Dao sighed. There was a hint of confusion in his words, perhaps not even he himself was sure about this. Wang Lin silently pondered and slowly withdrew his gaze. This video will end here.